Hey everyone, how's it going? Matthew Kadish here with the Salty Nerd Podcast, and today we're bringing you a special edition because we have with us the one, the only Andy Signore in the studio, our first ever like big time guest to actually come into the basement. Yeah. And he was very impressed with our jar of corks behind Jude there and all that good stuff. Andy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Look, I'm honored to be here. First, James Mangold, screw you. I'm in this studio. And I got to say, it is way better than you gave it credit for. You owe this man an apology. And I owe this man an apology too, because I had you on a stream. I'm sure a lot of your audience probably hates me because I was being hard on you on my stream. Because look, I didn't know the man, and I'm getting to know the man. This guy's a nice guy, and I like these guys. I'm in his home. He invited me to his home. He's going to help me get to the airport. I'm sorry, sir, if I misjudge you. We all judge movies. Mangold, you were a prick. You owe an apology. You know what it is, Matt? I feel like I want to like movies again. And that was really what it was. And I picked at you for some dumb reason. And I apologize because you weren't really picking at him. He was being a douchebag. Being a Hollywood douchebag.
What you might call a Mangold baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're wrong. It takes a big man to admit when you're wrong. And I was wrong. So you guys seem like gentlemen and lovely lady. I appreciate you inviting me in here. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, thanks for showing up. You know, like we've been fans of Screen Junkies and Honest Trailers and stuff like that for God knows how long, since the beginning of the internet, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, thank you for remembering that was me, because they love to just pretend like, oh yeah, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, that was like all you, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. The people who are making it weren't there when Honest Trailers started. So, but hey, good for that. They're getting paid off of my IP. But they won't talk to me. Yes. But hey, it's all good. I'm bigger and better things. We're moving on. I own what I have now. That's what's really special.
Yeah. So, we've been fans for a long time, and it was really cool when I reached out to you on Twitter like a couple years back, and you actually responded to me. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. And so like, even when you were giving me crap about the whole Mangold thing, I was like, that's just Andy being Andy.
Sometimes I do that.
That's just good old Andy being a dick.
Exactly. I am a dick.
He's our type of dick.
Yeah. And sometimes you're wrong, but if you don't have a strong opinion, you're boring, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
I don't know, whatever you think.
I think that's right.
All right, so Andy, let me introduce you to my fantastic panel of nerds. First
Amazing,
up,
yes.
I like how he refers to us as his.
I know, I noticed it too.
I'm the host.
But I'm the dick.
Right?
Technically, he's
so
not
calm.
wrong.
These are my people.
He's a calm dick.
I don't like it when Alex does that either. It annoys me, but I never say anything.
Aw.
All right, so Matt Vader 74, the real dick here.
Hi, how are you?
And of course, the ambassador of estrogen herself, Juju.
Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
I am going to be
mimosa.
doing the hosting duties today because Alex unfortunately had to work, so he couldn't be here. But,
Oh man, I was so looking forward to telling Alex all about the Jurassic World Dominion footage.
Yeah.
But I guess we won't go there.
He'll watch it on
Don't talk
YouTube.
about it at all.
yeah, he's going to be
Sorry, man.
He's going to be kicking himself over this. So, for those of you who don't know, Andy has just spent 4 days in Las Vegas attending what is called Cinemacon, which is the big kind of like Hollywood's overture to theater owners. Out here, where basically they show a bunch of like sneak previews of like all their upcoming movies, and Andy got to see some really interesting stuff, and we're going to talk to him about it. So Andy, what was the highlight of CinemaCon this year in your opinion?
You asked, so I'm not gloating, but I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. Oh, so good. It was really, really good. Sony surprised us. Ivan Reitman and Jason Reitman showed up, and I thought they were just going to show a clip package or something. And then as Jason Reitman was talking, excuse me, the mimosa's hitting. My buddy Adon and I, who's here, Adon over from Nerd Tots, we were sitting there. I was like, wait a second, did he just say when you see the end credits? And we're like, is he about to show us the damn movie? And then sure enough, he was showing us the damn movie. He's like, and make sure, the credit scenes. There are 2 end credit scenes.
Oh wow!
And then we realized, he was about to show the whole fucking movie. And I was sorry, can I curse?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was showing the whole movie. And guys, I mean, I don't want to overhype it, but I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I loved it, and I know there's a lot of worry about, is it woke? Which I'm so sick of everybody worrying about everything being too woke. No, it's not. It's about the kids though, but I was really invested in the girl, especially the daughter, the granddaughter of I guess we all know this now.
Egon,
She's Egon's granddaughter. And I thought they handled it really well tonally. It's got some scary parts. It's definitely heavy on nostalgia. Like there's definitely homages that I thought were really clever. But I don't want to spoil. I promised that because we saw it, we promised Jason himself we wouldn't spoil anything. So I'm not going to get any further.
I kind of feel like there better be some homages in this thing, right? Or nobody's going
to
like it.
It makes Paul Feig look like such an idiot. It makes him look like such an idiot.
What was your take on Ghostbusters Answer the Call, aka Ghostbusters 2016, aka Ghostbusters?
Well, I mean, it wasn't funny. It was the first big thing. It was just like a completely unfunny movie, in my opinion. Like, how many dumpling jokes did we need? Wonton jokes did we need? They kept coming back to that wonton. And then I just didn't think it was respectful to the original material. And you can't put 4 like alpha comic. I think they're all like the same type of comic. And there wasn't anyone like serious to play off of. It was just I think it was a tonal mess. It had nothing to do with they were ladies. It just was, I think, a really poor, unfunny movie. And they chose to not make it part of the universe, which was really weird. This one is set in the universe. It feels like a proper sequel. It's hard to tell if part 2 counts or not. I'll be honest, but it's kind of nice because it's vague. I gotta be careful what I say, but
did they pull a Highlander and just kind of ignore it?
I mean, again, I don't want to get into specifics because that'll spoil things. But it sort of doesn't matter. I would say it's tonally a sequel to Ghostbusters, like the ones that we knew.
I didn't even watch 2016. I've watched about 20 minutes of it, and I said nope. I just turned it off.
I believe Jude and I went and saw it in the theater.
Did we?
I think so.
I remember that I saw it.
Yeah.
Because you've told me that I've seen it. But I honestly didn't remember ever having seen it. And I certainly don't remember being in a theater.
Yeah, I 2016, that was around the time that we kind of like started dating. And I think like I wanted to see this movie. And so you were like, I'll go with you. And like,
I probably blocked it out to salvage our relationship.
Probably. Yeah, indeed.
The human brain is just science.
So I've never been to Cinemacon. I'm kind of new to this whole thing, right? When you go to these things, and I'm hoping to go maybe next year if we can figure it out. But are you like told you can't talk about certain things? Do you have to fill out like non-disclosure forms or any of that kind of stuff?
I mean, they make a request. They really just don't want spoilers. They showed us Ghostbusters was clearly the biggest surprise like thing they did. But I got an alert after I saw it because I was that they're just like, yes, you can react. You just can't. Please don't spoil.
Gotcha.
So I did an initial like, oh my God, I saw it. I loved it. Cause I just was like, I didn't care. Cause I figured are the studio gonna be mad if I say I liked the Ghostbusters movie. Jason Reitman was even on stage saying like, if please don't spoil. And I respect that. I don't want to spoil the movie. But he's like, but if you like it, don't, feel free to say that too. Cause I'm sure he's been holding on to this movie. It must suck to have this finished movie sitting in a can and wanting fans to see it. And he got to see it with an audience. And I can tell you the audience was totally on board. The audience was reacting a lot, laughing. Good. I had a smile on my face the whole movie.
I'm jealous. I'm totally jealous right now.
Well, I am. I started to gloat, but it's like, it was even specialer to know that I saw it before anyone else could hype it. Because I do think we overhype things. So I apologize if I'm overhyping things, but it's hard sometimes. But it was a fun. That was the. So anyway, to answer your question, long answer. That was by far the highlight of the show.
Well, I think I understand like your excitement about it because there's just been so much crap pumped out over the last 2 years that when you see something that's actually a legit good movie, you get like out of your fucking mind about it. And it might just be an okay movie or a decent movie, but you're like, holy shit, it's amazing because there's just so much crap to compare it to right now.
And I think it was just what I was so impressed by, and I hope others are too. Like it was a respect to the original. Like Jason Reitman's trying to like impress his dad, and I felt that emotionally in the movie of like a son, not only trying to please fans of Ghostbusters, but his dad who made Ghostbusters. So I have to say I really do think tonally like. Paul Rudd's in it, right? Who doesn't like Paul Rudd?
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
He's the vibe of Ghostbusters. So like it all worked. Yes, the kids, some people will think the kids are dumb, and yes, some people will say it's heavy on the nostalgia, but both of those things didn't bother me. I was having such a fun time seeing the story unfold.
I don't know. As the older guy on the panel, I'm 51. I went and watched the original Ghostbusters when they first came out. I am very happy that they've made a respectful sequel to something that came out so long ago. That's important to me. I'm tired of these bullshit movies that have been coming out the last few years. So it makes me very happy to know that this is good. It's respectful and it's in that Ghostbusters zone, man. Very excited to see this thing.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you, Andy. So basically, Cinemacon is a convention for theater owners. And the past couple years, ever since the lockdown, theaters have been struggling. So I wanted to ask you, kind of, what was the general feeling amongst the exhibitors who were actually at the convention? Are they just in depressed, or like what's going on with them?
I didn't interact with them. We had a suite party. So I would go to the presentations and I skipped the parties. We had access to parties there too that they do. Apparently they're great, but I just was like, whatever. We did some meetups. So I didn't really get to interact with the exhibitors, but I can answer that during the presentations. Like for example, Warner Brothers was there. And for those so again, Matt said it, but it's like, this is for theater distributors, but it's also like concession people. Like when I walk the floor, it's like, do you want new popcorn machines and like new recliner chairs and like, laser projectors, like clearly rich companies and a lot of like middle America sort of companies. So that's what a lot of candy, there was candy everywhere. So it's all sort of, and theater exhibitors. So yeah, there was definitely a vibe, but Warner Brothers was, I think, the most tone deaf. Because they have HBO Max, right, showing the movies at the same time, and there's no doubt that it's hurting the theatrical revenue, and they didn't address it once. Like every graphic they showed said in theaters. The HBO Max logo showed up never anywhere, and it felt like a very just disingenuous move on their part to like try to pretend to be we support the theater going. They had an hour long. It was about an hour. Was it an hour? It was like 40 minutes of Dune. Denis Villeneuve is there saying how important this movie is for theaters. He's like, you have to see this in theaters. It's a whole theater thing. And then it's like in theaters, but it's like, no, it's not in theaters. It's on freaking HBO Max. This is not a movie to start streaming if you want to respect the filmmakers and everything they're building. So I bring that up because when Warner Brothers came out to the room and, said like, we really believe in the theatrical experience. Like I started the chuckles. Like I was there like I couldn't hold it back. I was like, come on. And then there was a wave happening of more people just snickering that the executive had to go, no, we really do. And that was the tone, like right at the beginning, that was sort of the tone what Warner Brothers set in, where it was like, you don't care. Kind of reminds me when Blizzard announced Diablo Immortal and they're like, you guys have phones, right?
Yeah. It's like, is this a joke? Is this an early April Fool's joke? What are you doing?
We actually had a conversation about the Dune movie that's coming out, and since we're going to review it, we wanted to like make sure that we saw it like as soon as it came out. And we were like, okay, so should we stream it? And all of us collectively were like, absolutely fucking not. We're going to go see that in the theater.
Yep.
I go, I will take a PTO day from work.
Yeah.
If I have to go watch this movie with my crew.
And I'm usually I'd rather watch it from the couch kind of gal. But with this, like I've been waiting for it for so long. And like, I'm obsessed with the book so much. And like this I've been waiting for. And I'm like, I want to see this the way that it's meant to be seen.
And it's kind of funny because I think I'm one of the few people who actually like Lynch's version of Dune.
No, I like it.
You're a crazy person though.
I know. But I'm also a David Lynch fan.
Have you talked to this man about bad taste? I don't mean his, I mean the movie.
Peter Jackson, I love it. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think Andy's with me on this one.
I love it. I made a horror movie based on, the tonally of like Bad Taste.
No, I made these guys watch Bad Taste as part of our Monsters and Aliens episode.
Yeah, good choice.
And they almost all defriended me.
Vader quit. I stuck with it.
Oh, come on.
She almost broke up with me.
I
You get to see an early Peter Jackson's like creativity and
you
craziness.
sound like him, and I need you to leave.
I picked the theme that week, right?
Yeah.
Monsters and Aliens.
Oh, he was so pissed.
I was so fucking mad because he dumped that pile of crap on
Vader
me.
didn't make it past 20 minutes.
I tell you,
of that movie.
Oh, it gets so much better.
No, it doesn't. I watched it.
And she loves bad movies.
I love
That's
bad
her
movies.
thing.
I was physically
Did you meet the
ill.
Feebles as well? No.
No. If they can handle Bad Taste,
You're like, I gotta
don't
get check
want
out.
to.
I was questioning everything.
He does have a birthday week coming up. But
So speaking of Bad Taste, tell us about the Matrix 4.
He's like, give me all the juicies. Well, but to answer your question, I do want to, because I knocked on Warner Brothers. We were doing a stream, and I'm like, the executives didn't even show up. They did tape messages. It was like a laugh stock. During my live stream, Warner Brothers DMs me That was my phone. Warner Brothers DMs me like, you actually don't have the information right about why our executives weren't there. It was so telling. It was one, because it was like, clearly I'm right. Two, they're watching, which was like always funny. A nice reaffirmation of like, they pay attention, guys. Not even, I don't mean just to me, but when you talk about the executives, someone is tasked with watching.
Making our show legit by
but I'm saying, but I'm sure if you label it, Warner Brothers presentation, they're gonna watch and you go next year, they're gonna watch it. So
Warner Brothers and Mangold are all in a group chat. They're like, they're talking about your shit,
yeah,
bro.
well, exactly. Because Mangold's right. They're also egotistical, and insecure. Of course they're checking their mentions. But and then real quick, and I'll tell you Matrix, but the Universal presentation was the complete opposite. Like, even though they weren't there, they did this amazing thing where they really put their money where their mouth is, and they had the talent introduce each clip. But then the talent, like Matthew McConaughey, J-Lo, a lot of Jake Gyllenhaal. He introduced the new Michael Bay movie, Ambulance, which looks fucking sick. I got to be honest. It's like a French Connection, but done by Michael Bay. And you're like, I know, right? But I'm like, okay, I saw a lot of it. I'm like, this looks kind of fun. But anyway, what they did was they have the like Jake Gyllenhaal, everybody would like introduce a theater that meant a lot to them. Like Jamie Lee Curtis introduced this theater in Idaho. And then they cut to the guy in Idaho. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe Jamie Lee Curtis. But they really were hamming in like the importance of theater and like like sending a crew to these little theaters around the country that the celebrities that meant something to them. And it got me. I was like, yes, Universal, that's how you do it. Good job. You did a really good presentation. Warner Brothers, sorry, you missed the boat. And maybe they weren't allowed to because AT&T is the ones who made it do it. But I to get all that out, I just wanted to Universal, I think. And then Sony just won because they gave us footage and the movie. But then Matrix 4, that was part of Warner Brothers. And they said it's coming out Christmas. I really thought it was going to get delayed, but at the end of the trailer we saw it said Christmas. I'm shocked that's going to get an HBO Max release. I'm shocked. Like,
it's coming out on HBO Max.
It was. I assumed it was getting delayed so they could get next year and then they could justify it that way. But it says it's coming out Christmas, and any movie coming out in Christmas is going on HBO Max. So, and that was always part of their sizzle when they announced the sort of day and date. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. That's so stupid. Because even though I'm going to talk about the footage, good or bad, that's a movie that would have made money in the theaters. Who's not going to want to go see a new Matrix in the theaters?
I don't know. I feel like there's a whole generation that kind of missed the Matrix boat, and the people who didn't miss the boat, they were so disappointed in the two movies that came after the first one because to me, like, I was just kind of like, when I heard they were making a fourth one, I was just like, this is a bad idea. I'm not hyped for this at all.
I agree with you, but Keanu Reeves is riding a high part of the roller coaster right now, and people will go see whatever he's in.
True.
Yeah, and he's in it, and he's so anyway, the Matrix trailer we saw, which I guess isn't out yet still. I thought it would come out. It was I know the plot. I can tell you whatever you want about that movie. I don't want to spoil it all.
It's called Matrix Resurrection. Why don't you just give us a general overview of what it's about?
Yeah, so let me say with the trailer shows Keanu Reeves sitting with Neil Patrick Harris as like a seeming doctor or therapist type of figure. And he's having visions.
Wait. They're rebooting Doogie Howser? Get the fuck out.
There it is. That's the real scoop.
Spoiler.
But he's there getting interviewed by Doogie Howser, and he's like, I'm having the visions again. And they're sort of coaching him through it. And then you see Keanu walking through clearly the Matrix, like in a corporate job. I've been told he's a game developer in the movie that's made the Matrix movies as games. That's sort of the reasoning. And so bearded Keanu is in there, sort of lost, confused, clearly doesn't know he's the one, but he's sort of he's remembering things, trying to figure out what happened. Carrie Ann Moss also there in the Matrix. I'm assuming it's the Matrix. And then we meet Yahya Mantine. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but you know I'm talking about, that actor, Yahya from Aquaman, Black Manta, Watchmen. He's young Morpheus, and he shows up at a point in sort of Morpheus attire to help sort of awaken Neo again. And then Jessica Henwick from Daredevil is, from Iron Fist. The only good part of Iron Fist, I thought, in my opinion, she's there, short purple hair, like sort of badass character who's there to also help, I guess, Morpheus and Keanu. There were some cool sequences. Did you like, was the action good?
For me, well, I love anime and it looked like anime to me. So.
Yeah, it did look like a live act. Sorry, asking it done because I'm so drunk. It didn't. Here's what I'll say: no visual stuck with me. Like I saw flipping, I saw action, but nothing like wowed me, where I was like, oh, cool. They didn't put a money shot in, for my opinion. Don was more impressed.
We're only getting one Wachowski for this movie.
Correct. That might be why. But it was like a remix of like the, Go Ask Alice song in the beginning. It's clearly, it's clearly a reboot. They're clearly doing a reboot of Neo. They've rebooted it. So Neo's been rebooted. He doesn't know he's the one again. So they have to bring him out to sort of do it again. I'm worried about it. I'll be honest. Okay. I'm worried about it.
I don't see a lot of hype about this out there.
Maybe that's why it's going into HBO Max.
Maybe because I'm not hyped about it. I don't feel this way about this movie as I do about like Dune.
Yeah, there's been no buzz for Matrix 4. Like they haven't dropped any teasers. They haven't like done any behind the scenes stuff. Like it's all been very kind of closed down and under wraps. I'm guessing just because they're under the false assumption that people actually care about this movie and want to know what happens in it. But it's just kind of like a dull thud for Matrix right now. Like nobody really cares.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think as a franchise, it's one that should have been amazing, and they just got too full and lost themselves, stuck up their own asses. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that third movie. It was there were parts of 2 that I still think like that car chase scene was pretty fun. Yeah. Like the Burley Brawl, even though it could have, I heard they'd still need to render it today for that to finally actually look better. But I wish they would. It'd be cool to see a cut where they rendered it today's technology. Part 3, I just thought was a waste. I didn't care about Zion. That was the biggest thing.
They got like super philosophical for the follow-ups, whereas the first one's just a straight up hero's journey, and it was like amazing. And I wish that they just kind of like kept with the popcorn stuff instead of all the highfalutin, like philosophical things.
The architect and
exactly.
Yeah. And I always loved that MTV Movie Award open with Will Ferrell as the architect. Yeah. Ergo.
So our main host of the show, who couldn't be here today, unfortunately, he is a hardcore Jurassic Park fanboy, loves everything. Stalks, what's his name? Colin Trevorrow online constantly. We call him his boyfriend. And he would absolutely love to know everything you got to see about Jurassic Park Dominion at Cinemacon.
Yeah, well, Alex, first of all, I'm stepping back for a second because to plug my merch. I just made this amazing shirt that my designer helped me do, but you can see Home Alone, Back to the Future, and Jurassic Park. Yeah, 3 of my favorite movies as a kid. This is a new podcast I'm doing soon because I've been pivoting from non-movie topics, but I do a channel called Movie World where I talk more movie stuff. But Jurassic Park's one of my OG, like, I saw that in the theaters in 93 when I was at 13, I guess I was, so many times. That is definitely one of the most iconic films for me as a kid. So I'm looking for it. And I'm one, you're a Screen Junkies fan. I don't know if you remember, I've passionately defended Jurassic World against Dan Murrell. Told him he had to stick up his butt because he couldn't enjoy Jurassic World. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, wasn't a huge fan, but I thought the Jurassic World movie was a clever reboot of sorts that I did enjoy. So I'd heard things about Dominion from some very reliable sources that Trevorrow's out to prove something. And I do believe he got screwed. I believe he got screwed by Star Wars, and I believe he is now out there trying to make sure he can hit the landing on this movie and prove he wasn't, just a fluke with Jurassic World. So I'd gone in very excited to see more. I hadn't seen the IMAX footage, and they didn't show us the IMAX footage, but they showed us a sizzle reel that looked incredible. Trevorrow was there, and he says, basically the premise of this movie is, could dinosaurs and humans coexist in this world together? No. And then they cut to the footage of the raptors running down the street, the megalodon in the ocean attacking a ship. They're running around the snow, and then there was the iconic shot where we saw the 3 originals. We saw Jeff Goldblum, Lauren Dern, Sam Neill together. Like, they're not Star Warsing it, where they're in different sub-journeys.
I didn't know Goldblum was in there.
They're all in there. Wow. And it looks like even Ellie didn't it look like she had the same pink shirt and everything? Like, it almost like they know what they're doing.
Nice.
I think it almost felt like I'm just speculating, but it almost felt like he's like, I'm not doing what you did, Kathleen Kennedy, you moron. Like, I'm going to give the fans what they want. Of course they're going to unite on a journey together in this final movie. I'm not going to save that. It's the stupidest thing. They didn't put Leia, Luke, and Han together on one last mission.
Nice.
So you get the vibe. They showed it. They're there. And then Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard join them. This is clearly a cultivation of all the movies and this idea of seeing the world dominion, who's going to which species will take over. It looked cool. I mean, we didn't see a ton, but there was a lot of just action shots of them in the running and the dinosaurs in our world, not on an island. It looked sick. So that's the premise. I also know that if people haven't seen the IMAX footage, a slight spoiler warning of the opening, but what I really thought was cool is he does a real dinosaur opening. Like apparently that we go to prehistoric times.
Oh no.
And we get to see the T-Rex from Jurassic Park DNA getting taken by the mosquito. Is how the film opens. So the film, so for Jurassic Park fans, it's like, that's so cool. What a cool idea. Like today's technology, even better. Now we get to go meet the T-Rex from the movies in his, environment from back in the day. And then we get the mosquito taking its DNA, getting stuck in the amber. Movie begins like that. Trevorrow's clearly like into this, right? And paying attention.
Wasn't that the Mr. DNA cartoon?
Yeah.
In the first movie? Yeah.
Well, we didn't have footage of it before.
Yeah.
We didn't have footage of the T-Rex game. So yeah.
That's great.
So and it's another justification of like, let's see these dinosaurs, fight in their element. Anyway, yeah, I was very excited. I would have loved to have seen more, but we still have, it's this summer, right? It's coming out.
Yeah. Oh man, if Alex was here, he'd be grilling Andy
he'd
so hard.
He'd be losing his mind right now. He's like, "Ah!" Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was, you give it thumbs up too, right? That was it was, I was getting the second opinion. The audience reacted pretty strongly. So I think they know they have a hit on their hands.
All right. So I'm going to ask you about the movie everyone wants to know about. Huge fan base all over the world, hardcore.
He's about to say something sarcastic.
Oh yeah.
Clifford the big red dog.
Guys, they showed us the beginning of Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise was at the Paramount presentation. He showed his big stunt for Mission Impossible 7, which looks cool. They built, it's like a bike ramp off
the train thing?
Cliff. No, it's a bike ramp off a cliff where he then base jumps off a cliff in Norway. And I really think people are going to see it and not realize how cool it was. But we saw like a 10-minute breakdown of how he did that stunt, how they had to get the drone cameras timed. He had to do like 250 jumps, 1,500 motocross jumps. Like Tom Cruise is a machine. And so we got to see it all.
I feel like at this point, Tom Cruise is like, hey, I'm going to go do this super like dangerous thing. You guys want to film it and make a movie around it? Yeah, he's just a crazy person.
Yeah. I mean, he's just because he could afford to do these things, but he's like, I'll get the studio to pay for it.
Yeah.
While I do these insane journeys.
Isn't he going to space or something?
He is.
Probably.
Yeah. He is. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so they did that Mission Impossible, but then yes, for Top Gun, it's the same thing. He's like, can I go fly new jets again? Because I missed that. And they're like, okay, we'll pay for you to go in jets.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so Top Gun, are you guys Top Gun fans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never been like, I liked it.
Me and Jude love the unibrow.
I liked it, but I never loved it.
It touches me in places.
I used to work at Paramount Studios, and I was a page there is what it was called, and I had to memorize all these factoids about the lot for studio tours. And Top Gun was like a big thing at the lot, and so we'd go to like the first aid like shack, and it was kind of funny because it was like, this is what they doubled as, Kelly McGillis's house when Tom Cruise comes out and stares at the beach wistfully, like he's actually staring at, Soundstage 23 over here,
Right.
And so like, and growing up, like, the soundtrack Top Gun, like, I was a military brat. And so like everything about that movie was just like, fuck yeah. And like America.
America. But so you will be pleased then. The movie literally starts with the same like opening of like, these are the lead of the lead. They called it Top Gun. And it's the they use the same music.
Awesome.
Hans Zimmer's doing it too. And then they cut straight to Danger Zone. It's like, fuck yes.
So
they don't mess around.
I got to ask, did they show Val Kilmer in there at all?
So they showed us the first 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, which is like a Maverick being Maverick. It's like they give us the same opening, which even Hot Shots parodied, which I always loved when Hot Shots did that opening Top Gun parody. But you get like an updated version of that, and then it cuts immediately to where Tom Cruise is. I don't even remember his character's name. It's Pete, right? It's what's his character's name?
Called Maverick.
Yeah, exactly. What's his real name though? I'm quoting you. I got him on the spot. Good, I'm not the only dumb one.
Ooh, I think you might be right on, B.
But exactly, no one knows what his
Good
fucking
one.
name is. He's Maverick.
I think it's Mitchell.
Pete Mitchell?
Pete Mitchell or something.
It might be. But so they cut to Pete Mitchell, and he's like getting his bike, he's getting his jacket, and he's driving into work. And they find out that they're cutting the funding of his new jet thing. He's been we were supposed to get to Mach 9 today, but they want us at Mach 10, so the drones are going to put us all out of business. And Maverick's like, well, they're not here yet. And he jumps in the plane and is going to basically, the scene is, can he take the plane to Mach 10 at the beginning of the film? And Ed Harris is the admiral. We were right. Ed Harris is the admiral who shows up and is like, it's a great sort of action scene they start with. Tom Cruise versus Ed Harris. Funny. There's a funny couple parts. I don't want to spoil, but I was impressed.
Cool.
And then they showed us the trailer. And in the trailer, yes, you finally get to see Val Kilmer. You see a photo of Val Kilmer and an explanation of how Iceman is involved in the movie. Do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
Oh, I don't know.
It's going to be in the trailer, which I guess will drop soon, but you tell me.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
So hold your ears if you don't, and then we'll whatever, for 10 seconds.
Plug your ears. Yeah, okay.
They're like, Admiral Iceman suggested you for this course. I don't know if I believe him, but he seems to believe in you. And
He's
it cuts
an
to
admiral
he's like an
now.
admiral, and there's a picture of him, and so he's the one who sort of enlists Maverick to be the teacher of the new school that's teaching these kids, including Goose's son.
Because he can fly his wing anytime.
Yeah. So I think there's gonna be a cute moment exactly of like seeing Iceman finally saying like, no, Maverick, you should be teaching these kids. So that'll be nice. There were a lot of emotional things like that. There's a really good moment where Tom Cruise is like clearly not over the loss of Goose. That's going to be clearly a theme throughout the film. And then there's a shot in the trailer.
Miles Teller is Goose's kid, right?
Correct. And there's a shot in the trailer where Miles Teller goes up to him and is like, my dad believed in you. I won't make the same mistake. And then it cuts to Tom Cruise and he's just like heartbroken. Like,
Oh my gosh.
so there's going to be clear. And then, but what I liked most about the trailer is it's like they're going to war. Like we are going to see action in this one with missiles being fired and like, it's going to be real.
Is it safe to say you think this is another respectful sequel to
Yes.
an 80s movie?
I think it's a respectful sequel that's going to amp up the action. So for
Is
people
this-
who are not
is
into
this a
Top
new-
Gun will like not care because
Is
they're going to
it-
be like, this looks cool.
Is this like a new trend? Are they
Yeah.
listening? Are they listening?
It
to
seems like
these
someone's paying
sequels that
attention.
they're getting them right now.
You would hope, right?
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, Tom Cruise is, I'm a Tom Cruise fan.
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't care about his religion and all the drama. Who cares? It's not my business. As a movie star, Tom Cruise is legit.
He's amazing.
Agreed.
So I'm on board. I wasn't excited, but this footage got me excited. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm getting pumped for
It
Maverick.
seems like it was like forever ago when he was talking about this at San Diego Comic Con at this point, though, right?
Yeah,
This movie should have came out, what, 2 years ago?
I mean that's every movie now. 'cause
I
of
know,
COVID.
but
Yeah, they've been
it's
talking
just
about this
crazy.
movie for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's wild. So,
But you asked how was Clifford Red
Yeah,
Dog?
that's what I really wanted to know.
I was
about.
to answer your question. They literally they teased us and they gave us the first reel of Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, and the presentation was another hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes. Like they're gonna show us fucking Top Gun. That's why I woke up early. I was hungover, but I brushed it down. And they only showed us the first reel, and then they stopped it to be like, all right, and now we have a surprise for you. Enjoy Clifford, the big red dog. And literally, half the audience got up and left. And I was like, why did you mess? What? This is so stupid.
Did you have a little nap? Little nap?
I left. Well, to be fair, I think that movie looks cute. I'm a dad. I want to see it with my kids. I don't want to go sit in Vegas watching Big Clifford without my kids. So I left. I'll watch it again
if
later.
you come back home with a story about how you were in Vegas and went to see Clifford the
I
Big
know.
Red Dog, people are going to ask
My
you
kids
if you're
would be so
okay.
jealous too. Exactly.
So, in the Paramount,
So I didn't see it.
In the Paramount panel, was there any talk about the next Star Trek?
No Star Trek, no Sonic. I was like, why didn't you show Sonic 2 something? They didn't show a Sonic. They literally showed us Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. It's called like the Lost City of D or something. They showed us a footage of the two of them together.
The Lost City of D.
Exactly. It's a weird title, right? But
He's giving it to someone.
Channing Tatum giving it to, yeah. But
It's an action reimagining starring Channing Tatum,
That's a JCVD reference if you're unfamiliar.
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
yeah, well, he's like a romance novelist, so it could be about D, like as in the other D. But it wasn't like a scene from the movie. It was just like a behind the scenes of them working. But that was it. They showed that, and then it was the Tom Cruise sizzle, and then it was, which was cool. Like Tom Cruise is clearly Mr. Theater, and then they showed Clifford the Big Red Dog. It was
I feel like Paramount sold off all their like big releases to Amazon, so like they just have like 2 or 3 left to talk about.
well, they have Sonic, and it's opening this spring, so it's weird they wouldn't have shown that, right? Don't you agree?
Oh, maybe a lot of the special effects aren't done.
I guess
something like that.
show some art or something, right? They could have shown some.
they need to show us Sonic, make sure we like him before they put the
Right.
final touches on him.
And they just announced Idris Elba. Like there was something they could have done an announcement or just
Yeah.
acknowledged it, and they didn't. It was very weird.
All right. Anything else you wanted to share about Cinemacon?
I mean, you guys got the highlights. I'd say that was that was the best. Oh, the Northmen was really cool.
Yeah, Universal had the best lineup. I would say.
Yeah.
Like they introduced one that was still in production called the Northmen.
Yeah, Robert Eggers, who did The Lighthouse.
Alexander Skarsgård.
With Skarsgård, and it was Ethan Hawke as like a crazy old Viking. It looked cool. It was like it felt like The Revenant, but with Vikings. So like a gritty, and it wasn't done. Like Robert Eggers made it exclusively for us.
You're giving Vader a huge boner over here.
Yeah, but I want a good Viking movie, and it's like this looks like a gritty, like indie, like they're gonna step it up. And for Focus Features, it was, which Universal I guess owns them. But I was impressed. It was really cool looking. And it wasn't done. Like he made again, just to show how the effects of how some of these studios and filmmakers take Cinemacon seriously, he made this sizzle reel for us. It's never going to be done because it's not done. And he was like, please. And he made the executive come out and say, it's not done. The effects aren't there. But even without the effects, it looked like nice. There were a lot of practical, like fire and ships and stuff. I was like, damn, this is going to be fun.
And then horror films.
Which one?
Universal had a lot of horror films.
Yeah. Well, Halloween Kills looks really great. Halloween Kills looks fucking
really
fun. Yeah, I like the remake, actually. I thought it was a good, respectful, fun, sort of silly popcorn movie.
I'm a huge horror connoisseur, so...
You didn't like the Halloween reboot?
I don't know that I even bothered.
Really?
Yeah.
It was...
Did I? I don't know. Kadish keeps a tally of the movies I've seen. Have I seen
You didn't like the new Halloween? I thought it was better.
No, I did like the new
It was
Halloween.
way better than Rob Zombie's.
Well, I liked Rob Zombie's Halloweens too. Well, the first one anyway. And I really only liked the very first John Carpenter Halloween. So, but I thought that the reboot was pretty good. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
You didn't like the one with Busta Rhymes? Come on. What was that? Revelations or whatever it was?
H2O?
No, it was the one before H2O. It was Halloween. It was the reality show one where they're like stuck in a house.
Yeah,
Busta Rhymes.
like
it was
that
really
one.
bad.
Yeah.
I think we did a trailer reaction for the new Halloween.
Yeah, we did.
And I think I said that it looks good and I'm going to watch it, but I don't think it's going to be good.
It was.
But I've met Jamie Lee before. She's a very nice lady, so I'll go see her movie.
I'm not a Halloween. I mean, I'm not a huge horror person, but I enjoyed it, and I my buddy Lewis at Nerd Report it was huge Halloween. He really thought they were more respectful. This one brings back all the survivors from all of the other sequels to unite to try and kill Michael Myers.
I feel like I don't hold Michael Myers at the same standard that I hold other horror movies guys to. Like
the thing I like about this reboot though is there seems to be a plan. Like when they were making it, they were like, we're actually going to sit down and think about this so that we can deliver a good Halloween trilogy.
Yeah, like Freddy is my guy. Like, don't mess with Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the reboot of that. And I think that's what kind of turned me against other reboots of horror movies because I was just like so excited for it and so disappointed by it.
Right. Freddy's no joke. He's scary.
Yeah. Andy, thanks so much for coming by and visiting our studio and hanging out with us. It was really cool of you. Where can people find out more about you and check out your stuff? Yeah, they can check out Popcorn Planet right there. ED Popcorn Planet is my main YouTube channel. It's I do a lot of Britney Spears coverage now just because it's an issue I actually care about, but it's
Britney.
People really care.
Well, you know what's funny is living here in Vegas because this is where Britney lives.
Yeah,
it's like it's a big deal out here.
Yeah,
like we're all very sympathetic towards.
Yeah, it's not even just about Britney. Like I've gone down this wormhole. I've done the research, and it's depressing. And so I'm rooting for her. We got a lot there. So but I do other pop culture and stuff there. Popcorn Planet's more pop culture stuff. I have a movie channel called Movie World where I try to do more movie coverage there. And then I have a Hugging the Cactus, which is more of like a anti-cancel culture, like sort of giving people who need just mental health check-ins talk. So those are the sort of three channels you can find me. But look me on Twitter at Andy Signore, and you can find my link tree and find all my links there if you want support what you want to support. But I do want to say thank you for having me. It was really cool to meet you guys, and I'm sorry if I was tough on you on that stream. You held it well, but I'm sure a lot of people were like, you were really mean to Matt. You criticize movies too. It's true. I can look, guys. Everybody can be a hypocrite. It's just as long as they can notice and own it is really, I think, what's important. But
I didn't get to be on that stream, and when he said he was going on there, I'm like, oh man, is that a good idea? But no, it worked out. I was.
Well, I mean, but the thing is like,
yeah,
I didn't know him personally, but like I knew Andy, and I was just like, he's got his opinion. I don't care. Like, I believe people are allowed to have opinions.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
they don't.
Thank you.
You don't always have to agree with them, but it's like if somebody out there likes The Last Jedi, for instance, I'm not going to be like, you should hate The Last Jedi. If you like that movie, you know, you're wrong, but you know,
we all agree on that.
You can like that movie. So like, I don't want to, like, we have a saying here on the show, like, I don't want to yuck at someone else's yum. But like, I felt like with the Mangold thing, it was so silly. Like, I still get, like, there was just a news article that came out today about the girl who's playing Valentine on Cowboy Bebop, kind of coming after the fans. And it was an article on Slate, I believe, that was talking about like how misogynistic men are when it comes to like, you know, these like anime like reboots. And they used my Birds of Prey tweet from like three or 4 years ago as an example of like toxic masculinity and sexism and stuff like that. And you know, but like when the whole Mangold thing was happening, there were a lot of people out there who had the stance that like, you know, Mangold was right and I was wrong, even though like I didn't like call him out on anything like that. And I was just like, you know what, if that's what they believe, that's cool. But like, I respect Andy's opinion on stuff. I've respected it for years. And so I was just like, you know, he doesn't have the whole story. And that's why I contacted you and said like, hey, do you want to do a live stream about this? And everyone was like,
don't do it.
Yeah.
When you showed up, I was very impressed because that's the thing. It's like, you gotta actually meet somebody and talk to them. And I was getting heat in the comments during that stream, just so because of full transparency. What's so nice about being canceled is there's the fear of being canceled is gone. So now you're like, fuck it. I say what I want. Yeah, right. But there were some people like, don't you dare change your opinion, Andy. You get Matt right now because he's being a grump, blah, 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 blah. So I was getting it all across the way. So I held my ground on which I still believe of like, and I'm guilty of it, is the reality check. I'm guilty of it too. Like, I do believe we need to be, personally, I want to be more open-minded and give a filmmaker a chance to make his fucking movie before I criticize it. I do believe that's fair, but that's at the same time, I don't believe you really did anything to warrant. You didn't even fucking tag him. Like, it was so egotistical of him.
I wasn't even a blue check at the time.
It was just so weirdly pathetic that he found you and then decided, and then kept pushing. That's when even on that show, I agreed. Yeah, Mangold, you look like an idiot. Keep pushing this guy. But then as I've gotten to know you and seen you and now been invited your home, like, Mangold, you're a prick. But I was a prick too in a way. We all can be there.
Reserve your opinion until you're invited to Mangold's home.
Fair. You're right. You know, fair. But
he might be way cooler than me.
No, it doesn't matter. But my point is exactly like, he shouldn't have judged and jumped down your throat. But I still stand by a little bit of the fact of like, you know, you were a little hard. You were a little hard on him because I think we all are, because that fucking, the last movie and all the things he's up against are tough. So I think he's got an uphill battle, but he shouldn't be goading fans is where the problem is. And that's where I think that
seems to be like Hollywood's biggest mistake is like when at the first sign of criticism, they go after the fans instead of, we talked about Colin Trevorrow a little bit earlier. The way he handled the fan criticism,
he's great.
Like it was pitch perfect. It was like, that's how you're supposed to do it. And all these other Hollywood people, they look at it as an adversarial thing where like they have to like fight back against the fans instead of actually trying to assuage their concerns.
Yeah. No, but see, you said all Hollywood. It's not all Hollywood, but yes, a lot of Hollywood does that. It's the insecure Hollywood, which is the predominant ones. I've always told this story. I might have told that stream. Like my friend was sitting behind J.J. Abrams. He was on a flight, literally checking his mentions. Like he searched his own name to see who was talking about him on Twitter. And that is most of Hollywood. It's true. And so they're all just insecure is the reality. And the reality is if you talk about them, they will see and they will respond. So be prepared for the heat when they come back. It's just, but I think it was a little bit punching down to you guys, especially when we started criticizing this amazing studio. Come on, Mangold. You need to come here and make right. I did. Come on. You're going to be in Vegas. It's like a quick ride down. He'll even pick you up, sir. They're going to give you a mimosa. When this goes up, I'm going to use that blue check to make sure Mangold knows you're on watch, my man.
Yeah, and we even have his jar of corks.
Dude,
prominently
it's
placed.
a lovely jar of corks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good old.
I'm getting a selfie with that before I leave.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate you guesting our show. Like you're our first like big in studio guest. So
I'm not big, but I'm honored you call me. I mean, I am big, technically. Technically big.
We've heard stories.
but it's been really great to get to know you personally. Like you're a very cool guy. We like we're kind of picky with who we hang out with, and so like it was nice to see that you're you're just as cool in person as you are online. So like, you're welcome back anytime.
Look at you shilling with this Hollywood liberal. I'm not a liberal anymore, but I'm not conservative either. I don't know what I am. Leave me alone, everybody.
You're a no bullshit guy.
Yeah, they're all idiots. They both sides. My God, Trump and Biden, they both suck. How's that? That's what I believe.
Okay, Mr. Fence Sitter.
Exactly. Pick a side. Pick a side, damn you.
Don't you change your mind.
All right, so you're welcome back to Vegas anytime.
Thank you, sir. And if you come out to Florida and Tampa, welcome to come into my garage.
Ugh, no thanks.
Yeah, too much humidity out there.
It's nice. It's cooler here. I was impressed.
Yeah, well, you should come out when it's not the summer. It's actually like pretty nice out here.
We're just starting to come to the end of our terrible weather.
This is fall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice.
But if we're ever in Florida, we'll be sure to look you up, sir. Thank you.
We're not going though.
You don't want to go to Disney World? Come on.
Nah.
Maybe Harry Potter World.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I'll go to the one in Japan.
All right, and everyone, where can we find you on the socials? Matt Vader 74.
Oh, you can find me at MattVader74 on Twitter and Instagram, and at salty_nerd on Twitter as well. So.
And Jude.
You can find me at I am Juju on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
And you can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com will take you to my Amazon page where you can check out my novels. And as always, stay salty, my friends.